in this league are the ones that are the most simple.
We talked about all the kinds of standardized testing that collegians go through to try to take apart their minds and take a look at how intelligent they are and how adaptable they are. Do you have to do that with free agents? Do you only look for smart free agents who can learn a system quickly?
Well, the information that we're collecting, the data that we're getting right now on the college players, obviously will go into your pro department. And so when a player becomes a free agent, you go back to his college career, you review that information you had on him, and then you can cross-check that while he was a pro. If he had some trouble doing some things in college that show up in pro, there's a trend there.
So don't goof up that Wonderlic test, because it may come back to haunt you when you want to get the free agent dollars 3-4 years down the line. Mike?
You're going to take a Wonderlic test, Fowler. We're going to have a good time with that over dinner one night. Let's bring in Mark Malone and talk about the free agency impact on coaches and coaching systems changing the players' side as well, Mark.
Well, you know, Mike, I really think that it's tough on the coaches, and here's why. I talked to several coaches this past season who said, hey, listen, you know, as a coach, I'm a teacher. I'm trying to teach techniques. I hope to have a kid for a long time. Now we're kind of like college coaches. We're recruiting kids. I'm having to become buddy-buddy with agents now because if I sign a kid, pay him some money, well, maybe he'll help me with another kid I want. I think that it's really gotten out of hand. I mean, we got back to this, and Sterling may disagree with me on this point, but you take a guy like Neil O'Donnell, who had a great year in Pittsburgh. He signs for a lot of money to go to the Jets. And I don't care how much money you signed for. You know, it used to be when you played this game, money came because you won, all right? That extra money Neil O'Donnell got can't buy him a Super Bowl ring. It can buy him some nice jewelry, but not a Super Bowl ring. So I think the coaches are under a lot of pressure, and each one of these systems require different little nuances, different little techniques. And, you know, we heard Mike Lombardi talk about the San Francisco 49ers. You know, they have the same system. It's very complicated. But what happens when you take Taylor and Rice or Brent Jones out of that system? They haven't had free agents in there. When that happens, I think you're going to see a real problem for the San Francisco 49ers. Mike?
Sterling, you agree or disagree?
I agree wholeheartedly, because you look at the situation the Green Bay Packers were in last year. If they'd have put Andre Rison in a Robert Brooks' situation, with Robert Brooks moving over, already being in the system, they click. They continue to just grow in jail, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. The money is nice, but it's not going to allow the continuity. It's not going to allow the productivity, and we're going to have problems.
What we were just talking about, Alvin Harper, Andre Rison this year will be their third system, third different head coach. And what does that mean when you're running a route?
It's hard to go out there and be your best when you're concentrating on if I'm in the right place or not.
Sal Paolantonio joins in on our conversation now. He's at the Baltimore Ravens headquarters.
Michael, one team up the road is Philadelphia Eagles, been very active in free agency. They spent $50 million this year. I talked to Jeff Lurie at Veterans Stadium on Thursday about his plan that they put together in December. And everybody seems to think that Lurie doesn't have a lot of money. He's actually spent $9 million in signing bonuses over the course of the last 3 months, just in players, just bringing in free agency players to kind of rebuild the roster, because they have the highest number of free agency players, 24 in the National Football League. Just talked to the Eagles war room. They're very happy about the way this draft went for them. Ray Rhodes believes he got 4 legitimate starters, potential starters out of this draft. Jermaine Mayberry, there you can see it up on the screen. Jermaine Mayberry, the tackle out of Texas A&I. He'll probably play right guard. Jason Dunn, the tight end out of Kentucky. He's a starter, looks like a starting tight end. They got him in the second round. A lot of people thought he would go in the first round. Brian Dawkins, probably play strong safety. He's out of Clemson, replaced Greg Jackson, who they'll probably lose to free agency because they haven't re-signed him. And Ray Farmer, linebacker out of Duke, will replace Bill Romanowski, who they lost in free agency to Denver. So losses and pluses in the free agency market for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they've been very, very active and think they've gotten 4 potential starters out of this draft. Now let's go back to Mike Tirico in New York.
Sal, to emphasize that point a little bit, you have Randall Cunningham, Anton Davis, Guy McIntyre, Lester Holmes, Mark Gunn, Harry Boatswain. I'm just scratching the surface of the list of players that officially you'd still put in a column as pending as to guys who ended the year last year with the Eagles, and where will their next move be. They have so many players who are veterans in this league who are either stopping in Philadelphia for a year or two or making a new stop in Philadelphia after coming from another place in the National Football League. So that's one philosophy as Ray Rhodes and Jeffrey Lurie try to deal with it in Philadelphia. Kansas City, where the ownership and the coach and the man running the player personnel have stayed stable, and Carl Peterson, the president, general manager, and CEO, they have been able to really maintain the people that they have. There hasn't been a lot of transition. There's a philosophy here that seems to work.
My philosophy has been that I'd like to retain our good, young, ascending players first. And that is the most important thing to me. I've always felt that, you know, you'll do better with the players that you know most about. Even if they do have some deficiencies, you can find ways to cover that up, if you will, with situation substitution, get another player in there when this particular player can't do as well. But that's been the #1 priority for us.
Some teams haven't been able to do that in free agency, but Kansas City, for cap reasons, has been able to do that, and it's served them pretty well.
Well, you look at a team like Green Bay, one of the remarkable things about it is that if you're not a guy who came in with Mike Holmgren, then chances are you're not going to be there. Look at Bryce Pop and Tony Bennett. But Green Bay's done a great job of replacing those players with the Wayne Simmons and other guys that have stepped up their game. They've done a great job. But, yeah, you try to keep that continuity as long as you can, especially with guys like Brett Favre, Edgar Bennett, and Robert Brooks that have been there for the past 4 years. They should be there for a long time.
And the Kansas City system is working. In the 90s, their record 64-32. 6 years in the 90s. Kansas City's been in the playoffs all 6 years and are a very strong bet to be there a 7th year, 1996.
Environmental pollution, ultraviolet rays, acid rain. They'll destroy your car if you let them. Introducing Autofoam with Foamlin A. Created by Blue Coral, Foamlin A is the ultimate transparent non-stick barrier, and only Autofoam has it. Look, Autofoam fills in nicks and scratches in your car's finish, providing a high gloss shine that protects against environmental pollution, ultraviolet rays, even acid rain. But wait, there's also Autofoam Ultra Car Wash. It actually forms a protective layer of Foamlin A every time you wash. And that's not all. Introducing Autofoam Ultra Wheel Care. Remove brake dust, grease, and stains on contact. Get Autofoam Liquid Sealant, Ultra Car Wash, and Ultra Wheel Care. Now just $19.95. Bring out the shine in no time with Autofoam by Blue Coral.
Have your credit card ready? You can call 1-800-613-0606. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping to Autofoam, P.O. Box 2978, Framingham, Massachusetts.
How much NBA action can you pack into 1/2 hour? How much can you handle? NBA Tonight, the ultimate half-hour wrap-up of the day that was in the NBA. Tuesday through Saturday at midnight, only on ESPN2.
If you passionately believe in what you're doing, you can achieve almost anything in life. We can have an idea in the bath in the morning and have it up and working by the afternoon. We like to think of Virgin as a flexible company, and I think American Express is very flexible as well. You can use the card to buy a CD, or you can use it to go off and travel around the world.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing to worry about coming from your tailpipe, because with every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more of your protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, the most protection against volatility burn-off.
Just after approaching 4 o'clock in the East, 1 o'clock in the West, as you look at the last 6 picks in the National Football League draft, we have 48 picks remaining. And let's remind you what Mike Lombardi said a short time ago. In the last 2 drafts, from the last 51 picks, there have been a whole gaggle of quarterbacks selected. Spence Fisher, the quarterback from Duke, Mel, he was taken with 51 picks remaining in the draft, and then Mike Cawley from James Madison.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks. Of course, Fisher will beat you with his knowledge. He's not going to beat you with a great arm or his legs. I think when you look at the quarterbacks that are still available, though, there's still some talent at that position. I told you about, Gus Frerotte, 7th round a few years back, Elvis Gerback, an 8th round. You still have Kyle Waholtz, a kid out of USC. He's got real good size and good arm strength. John Stark out of Trinity, still there. You look at Scott Milanovic. He could also be your punter, so don't just think quarterback with Scott Milanovic. He definitely has a strong leg, did a great job at Maryland in that area. So there is some talent in that late 6th, early to mid-7th round that's going to be able to give a team an opportunity for a quarterback.
People stay away from Milanovic because after he came back, the team was 4-0. Brian Cummings had Maryland going well, and Milanovic comes back, they play Georgia Tech, and their season came to an end.
I think the big concern with Scott Milanovic is the fact he doesn't have a gun, and of course he played in the run and shoot. So is it the system? the lack of arm strength, the lack